Hello, I'm Simon from Attwood, and today I want to talk a little bit about electric bilge pumps. On my right we have the manually activated bilge pumps. Manually activated means that you need to have a switch to turn them on, either something that you turn on yourself or a sensor or float in your bilge to activate these pumps. On the left we have the automatic bilge pumps, and just this little pump in the middle, which is the water buster, which is a portable battery powered pump as well. So starting off with our manually activated pumps, we have our high capacity ones, the HD 2000 and HD 1700. Then we have the Tsunamis. The Tsunamis are available in 1200, 800 and 500. Now these pumps, the Tsunamis, are going to actually be replaced at OEM level in 2021 and then at retail in 2022. And in front of us here we have some of those new Tsunami Mark IIs. I want to run through some of the benefits of these pumps. So all the Tsunami range are very affordable. They're also very easy to fit, they're very reliable, and they're very easy to service. So I'll have a little look at the 500. In order to service the 500, you just have to push the tab in at the side and turn it, and the whole pump comes off the top, and you have the pump housing and the base in your other hand. Very easy to disassemble and super easy to reassemble. Now the reason that we are bringing out the Mark II is that we want to bring some new technology to this. We're going to talk a little bit later about the new Sahara, but the new Sahara has patented technology in it which will also be applied to the new Tsunamis. So one of the big problems that we have today in the electric bilge pump world is when we get airlocks. Airlocks can happen in the pump itself or in the pipework afterwards. So we have a new impeller called the X-Air impeller, and that ejects all the air out of the pump and overcomes the airlocks both in the pump and in the pipework. And that's going to be applied in this Tsunami range. It's already coming in the new Sahara. One of the other things we've done is we have added some external feet, which you can notice the difference between the old and the new, or the Mark I and the Mark II. That means you don't have to disassemble the pump anymore. In the past you had to push the tab at the side in, turn the pump body and pull it out, and then put your screws on the inside. Now while most other pump manufacturers do the same, we realise that this is a bit of a pain point and it takes that little bit extra time and it's a little bit fiddly. So we've added these feet to the outside. We still have the hook, which means you can attach our bilge switch to the side of it. And you'll also notice that the outlet is now threaded instead of barbed. And this is to allow us to provide you with an elbow and a straight outlet, which means for those tight installations, you can get an elbow straight onto it. Inside the elbow, you will also find the non-return valve. The non-return valve is a tricuspid valve, and this technology comes from our wheel division to make sure that you have the most efficient and most reliable non-return valve in your system. It also does not cause a problem with airlocks because the new anti-airlock impeller, or the X-Air impeller, overcomes those airlocks. I want to talk about the Sahara. The Sahara has been around for a long time. It's probably one of the world's #1 selling automatic bilge pumps. I have here the 750. The 750 is part of the range of 500, 750 and 1100. The new Sahara Mark II will be available in a 500, an 800 and a 1200. Now when you look at the two pumps, you initially think that this one's much bigger. The footprint is the same, the height and the width are the same. But what we have done is added a threaded port to the outlet to allow you to install an elbow. Now this elbow comes also with the non-return valve, and the non-return valve comes in straight as well. The beautiful thing about the elbow is that it spins 360 degrees and the collar locks on. So it's very simple to install it, put it where you want and tighten it up. And one of the things that I hope you will notice is that the outlet is now stepped. So this is 3/4 inch and 1 inch, and that comes on the 500 and 800. And then on the 1200 you will get an elbow and a straight with 1 inch and 1/1/8 inch. That means that they are universally compatible with any other bilge pump on the market. As I've already mentioned, the Mark I versions of both the Tsunamis and the Saharas, you have to disassemble them in order to put the screws in to mount it inside your boat. Disassembling is time consuming, it's not very difficult. Reassembling is a lot more of a challenge. So we've addressed both these issues with the Mark II. The Mark II has external feet, 2 at the front and 1 at the back. And also it has specially designed guides to make sure that you cannot reassemble it wrong. It will always slide back into the right place. We have also reduced the reach needed to get to the release buttons. So you can see here there is no gap between my hand and the pump. On the new one, there's a very large gap. That means that people with smaller hands, or when you're in a very confined bilge space, will find it very easy to find the release tabs and take off the motor cartridge if it needs to be serviced. One of the lovely things that we've done with the aftermarket particularly in mind is on the bottom of the pump we have multiple hole patterns. And I would ask you to go and have a look at some of our material, because you can replace this into the same holes as about 7 other pumps. So you can replace it with our Mark I, all of the Johnson pumps, all of the Rule pumps, and some of the other lesser known brands as well. So you don't have to drill any new holes in the bilge of your boat, you can use the same holes. And the last little one that I wanted to talk about is just our water buster. Our water buster is just powered by D-cell batteries. It means that you can, comes with the hose as well, it means you can just drop it into a flooded area, whether it be on a boat or a tender, and there's a little switch in the side and turn it on and it pumps that water out for you. It'll pump about 300 gallons to a height of about 1 meter, 3 feet. And it's a super little pump just as a backup to have on board should you need it. Thank you very much for listening.